sharp, the air is cold. This is where the dream begins. So I can't start losing ground. So I can't stop. Following the moon, following the moon. I'm soaring higher, higher, burning up this perfect fire. I'm soaring higher, higher. Yeah, I'm rising from the wire.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hope everybody's having a great Monday so far. Wishing you guys a great week ahead. We're going to do a quick market review as we do every morning. And interesting price action. Our pre planning from this weekend has played absolutely perfect. So, kind of going back to what we had marked on the chart from our previous sessions, we can see this distribution range here on Bitcoin that has formed. Let's go to the bigger chart to make it easier. That has formed after this bounce back that we had here after a big liquidation event. We put this low over here where we're discussing this low as a really bad quality low, and we do expect that on the near future we should be taking this low to create a bigger range if we want to see price continue to expand higher. Now, of course, when you have price dropping quickly, that's going to create supply areas where we can expect reactions from price. And we can see that right here. We have this range that was created by this smaller range. This is what we call the advanced range theory, where the distribution range creates the range high for this range in here. So we had this marked in our chart yesterday. And then going through Asia, which is going to be the first session that opens, right? Asia is technically ahead of time compared to the US and Europe based on time zones. And we had this beautiful 15-minute order block in here acting as supply where price got a perfect rejection from. Now, if we go into a lower time frame to look for an entry, we can clearly see we had an entry in here. It was a really nice model to short. Unfortunately, really bad timing. For me, I'm in the US. This happened for me around 11 o'clock at night, which I am in bed for already. And for you guys in Europe, you guys are around 6 hours ahead. It was 5, 6 in the morning for you guys. So unfortunately, really poor timing from the market. But regardless of that, it's really nice to see that pre-planning working out. So we have our break of structure over here, which confirms the short in our system. So at this point in time, we could have gone ahead and shorted this model here. And the way that we short these models is actually very simple. We look for the breaking structure, and if you guys have any questions on how that works, if you guys want to get more knowledge on technical analysis in the system, you guys can let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. Our stop loss goes over here on top of the third tap, and then we just simply target the range low, which in this case, our range low, it's located right over here. So technically, we're looking for around a 9-hour setup, which is extremely good. And we can see the beauty of the system, right? We can see this playing out perfectly. We had all this liquidity here. This is what we call the liquidity curve. And we can see all these lows that have been stacking here, helping the price just dump. There is really nothing to hold the price in this section here. And that is why you can see the price aggressively expanding down, going from 71.3 up to this morning, went to around 68. So you have a $3,000 drop in a matter of a few hours in Bitcoin. So really amazing to see the model playing out. You guys can see the dropping here. you have around 5% drop. So really, really nice to see that model playing out. Now, of course, once you take all this liquidity, you do expect to see some sort of bounce. And then we have a low that we put in here, which got deviated again. So we gotta pay attention what price does in here, moving on the way down. And then we go to our session indicator. We can actually see different sessions. Different sessions are gonna be Asia, London, New York. So you guys can see here clearly the Asia session opens here at 6 o'clock at night, puts this high into supply, goes down, mitigates all demand in here, and goes up again to put this third tap, break a structure to bearish, confirms the model. Then London opens over here at 3 a.m. my time, continues the push down, and then New York opens here, and this is what we call a classic example of New York manipulation, where on the session open, you get a pump which can traditionally retrace and just keep pushing the price lower. So eventually the expectation for this model is to complete, and we do expect this low here to be taken out. And once that happens, we're gonna see what the price did, and we can continue to look for different models. Once again, unfortunately, the timing was not on our side. This happened when US was sleeping, South America is sleeping, you have Europe sleeping, only Asia is open. So really bad timing for our model, but it's okay, it happens, right? There are gonna be other trades to catch. Now, if we line this up with our pre-planning on USDT dominance, we have an absolutely beauty of a confluence, and you guys can see here USDT coming to this range low right at the same time where Bitcoin is putting the third tap and breaking structure. So a really nice model overall that is displayed out. Now, ideally, we want to see what happens next. We can pre-plan a couple other scenarios. So a couple of things that we can look for now are gonna be as follows. As we have taken all this liquidity here, we can see first if price goes up again to over here and maybe create some sort of new model here, using this as an extension model for a bigger time frame range, like you saw in here. So we get something like this in here, where you have a first tap, second tap, third tap. We can short this into the bottom. Now, ideally, getting something like this will be very interesting based on one reason. The bigger the time frame the range is on, the more powerful it is. So these are smaller ranges. You can see this in here. This range was 1 day range. It can deliver some rotation to the bottom, right? Then now you have a multi-day range that is slightly more powerful. And if we get something a little bit bigger time frame, these can actually have the potential to send this price all the way to take down this low. So now we gotta be patient. We gotta see what happens in here. So as of right now, as of today, probably tomorrow or the next 2 or 3 days, there is no trade to take on Bitcoin. Now, yesterday we mentioned how the Ethereum chart is absolutely boring. There is really nothing to do in Ethereum at the moment. Until we take out these weird wicks in here, here, and here, all this price action in this zone in here is just internal price action. So you want to take out this high or this low, build some sort of new range, maybe take out this liquidity on top before we can actually talk about some kind of trade on Ethereum. So as of right now, there is really nothing to do on Ethereum, so we're going to skip this one over. It is just going to be a waste of time and effort. Then another chart that I don't personally like, it's going to be Solana. Solana looks very bearish for a long time. I actually sold my Solana positions around here in December, November of 2024, because this has a high time frame distribution where you have a 1, a 2, and a 3, and you have a confirmed rotation to this bottom in here, which actually happened in April of this year. And then this is the most bearish part. You have this extreme supply from this model in here, and price comes exactly there and actually redistributes in here around the same time that Bitcoin was making an all-time high. At this point in time, we're expecting a full rotation, taking out all these lows one more time, which exactly happened. And at this point, if you see this in here, if you guys want to watch my videos, get an idea of how I trade, all this here is just liquidity. There is really nothing to hold the price. We already grabbed some liquidity here and we got a bounce, but we can expect Solana to go lower. If we don't see some sort of accumulation here in the near future, Solana is gonna go lower. How low? I can't tell you, but Solana is gonna go lower if we don't get some sort of accumulation here soon. So Solana, there is really nothing interesting going on in the high time frame. Moving to the lower time frames, you do have some liquidity building up on top. You have all these highs stacking in here, and I can see it just really quickly. There's some supply in here, so maybe we can get some sort of rotation up here, take out all these highs, and get some sort of distribution range in here, which maybe goes something like this. So I'm gonna keep an eye on Solana to see if we can get some sort of distribution model in here and maybe take a short down the road. But as of right now, there is really nothing. You'll want to see the price come up here, take the supply, come down, spend time in the range, come up again, and then we can find a short to take it lower. So as of right now, nothing on Solana. Going through other major pairs that I like to trade, we have Pepe. Pepe had a distribution in here before this big dump on Bitcoin recently. And again, we have a really bad low in here, liquidity above. So there is really nothing to trade on Pepe at the moment. Then you have pairs like XRP that are in the exact same similar situation with liquidity above, really bad low in the bottom. Interesting part on XRP, there is really nothing to hold the price. I would like to see this liquidity down here taken at around $1. And then you have this high time frame demand of this previous range in here around 95 cents. So ideally we go down here and build some accumulations that we can long all the way to the top again on the future. Probably not very close to now. Yesterday I mentioned of a couple altcoins that I was looking to short. The first one is this one. SYS, I actually shorted these all-time high in here last month. It was a really nice trade, and I took profits over here. It was an absolutely banger of a trade. And now we're having something similar. If you guys remember that Solana chart that I presented a few moments ago, you have something very similar where you have a high time frame distribution and you have the supply here created by that distribution. And now this is doing something similar. So I'm observing what's going to go in price here. If we actually have a way to grab this high one more time in here, I'll be interested in looking for shorts. Something like this. So grab this liquidity in here. Come up slowly, take these, short in here, bring it down. And of course, if I were to be interested in any of these shorts, you guys will be the first ones to know. On a perfect world, on this one, on this SYS coin, you want to see this red block get tapped. That's going to increase the probability of the model. So we got to remain patient, see what it's doing. Let's check out the volume profile to give us an idea of how this is looking. The volume profile is really not looking that great. You guys can see here, most of the volume happens on this boxing here. So right now we're actually over the volume profile. So ideally we spend some more time in here. That's gonna push the volume profile up. And that's gonna allow for an easier rotation to the bottom if we were to confirm a distribution model. Next coin that I was looking at for a short, Monad. And unfortunately, this also played out already. So I had this range marked here in Monad, which is a new coin. It's like some new bullshit coin. You have a 1, 2, 3, really nice model here. And I was looking at getting an extended model, which is a higher probability model, so we can take a better short with a smaller invalidation. Now I was looking to get a fourth tap in here where we can short in here. Unfortunately, price came up to here, but we never got a fourth tap. So therefore, this model already played out. I was expecting to get something in here to short, but this already happened. So this model is invalidated, it's completed, there is nothing else to look for. However, let's go to Monad on the higher time frame, and I am seeing something very interesting. If you guys go to Monad on the higher time frame, we actually have a potential accumulation model that we can long. You guys can see that volume profile in here. There is no volume in here. All this section on top, there is no volume in here. It is all blank space. All the price action is happening on this section of the range. So what that's letting us know is that once we have an expansion in the near future, it's actually going to be an easy expansion because there is no price traded on this point of the range. So as now we are completing this model distributing here, we can take this off the chart and we can 100% just focus on the accumulation process here. We have some lows in here. So I'm going to keep an eye on this one to see if we can actually take these lows down here and find some point of entry for a potential long. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one, guys, for a potential long. I'll let you guys know if I am interested or not. As of right now, there is not an entry, but the price is looking good. is looking interesting for a potential long. So Monad, no short, but potential long on the near future. Very important to keep an eye on. More than that, guys, most coins have similar behavior. Price needs time. I have some coins that I have marked for a high time from accumulation that we can potentially long on the near future. But as of right now, we have to be patient. The market has to give a direction first before we go ahead and long or short. So that's maybe the update for today, guys. Thank you guys for listening. We do expect a little bit lower in the near future, and we're gonna keep you guys posted if we see any trades that are worth taking. As of today, I am not taking any trades so far this week, and we'll see what comes here in the near future. Enjoy your day, guys, and talk soon.